Good morning. It's a little after 9 o'clock, and I'd like to bring the October 4th, 2023 Planning Advisory Commission meeting to order. Please rise for the pledge. Thank you. I'd like to remind the commissioners and planning staff to please silence or turn off your cell phones. And I remind those watching on television that this is the first hearing of the rezoning and comp plan request that's being brought before us today. We'll hear a reading of the staff report for the case by planning department staff and ask the applicant to give a brief overview of the request. Then give the opportunity for anyone in the audience, if we do have an audience, to speak for or against the request or to ask questions about it. The commissioners can then have any needed discussion on the case, make a motion and second it, and a vote will take place, and the commission will make a recommendation. The case will then go back to the planning department for its independent recommendation. If planning gives a favorable recommendation, then the case is forwarded to City Council with the two independent recommendations. If planning makes a recommendation for denial, the applicant has 10 days from the receipt of a letter stating denial to notify the clerk of City Council that they're requesting to be placed on the council's agenda. When a request gets to City Council, it will, at one of its public meetings, hold the first reading of the case. The council will consider the case, review the PAC and planning department recommendations, and hear discussion on the matter. And at a second public meeting, which is its second reading of the case, council will make a final decision. Our first agenda item today is to approve the minutes of the September 20th meeting. Does anyone have any comments or corrections to the minutes? Okay, do we have a motion?
So moved.
A second? Okay, all in favor, raise your right hand. All right, it's unanimous. Okay, that brings us to our first case of the day. REZN 04230630, a request to rezone 1.34 acres of land located at 910 Tolleton Road. Current zoning is neighborhood commercial, proposed zoning is residential office, and the proposed use is single family? I don't think so. I think that, no.
Medical lab, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. And the applicant is the planning department, and the property is located in Council District 8. Garrett. Okay, could we, I believe the planning department is the applicant, so could we hear? Yeah, I think we should.
All right. The proposed use of the property is for medical research. The land use is consistent with the area. It is in Planning Area D. The future land use designation is office professional, and the current land use is public institutional, and the use is compatible with existing land uses. There's no traffic study available. The zoning to the north is general commercial. To the south is residential office, east is neighborhood commercial, west is residential office. 19 property owners were notified. We did not receive any calls or emails regarding this. This was approved by Planning Commission in April and then went on to City Council and was approved. It is back before you to go back to residential office, which it was originally, which we rezoned it to NC. But turns out that they do need the larger 5,000 square foot office spaces, which neighborhood commercial does not allow. So it is reverting back to residential office, which is still an approved use for medical research in RO. So this is just a correction. It's going back to its original zoning.
Thank you. Does anyone on the commission have questions for staff? Nope, okay.
Yeah, when Ryan Clements came forward and rezoned this, starting back in April, I think you had 7 or 8 lots there. 7 of them were NC and 8 of them were RO. I mean, 1 of them was RO, 7 of them were NC. So I think when staff looked at it, they just said, well, the easiest thing to do is just rezone 1 instead of rezoning. So, but the problem was, and there's just clarification error between us and them, is they did have a user that's going to be more than 5,000 square feet. It's going to be 20,000 square feet. So they're in the demo process now, and we just told them we'd take it back and just flip-flop it. So now we're rezoning those 7 to RO, so all 8 lots will be RO.
Thank you. Does anyone on the commission have questions? Okay. As there's no one in the audience, we won't have any questions from the audience. Is there any additional discussion? If not, would anyone like to make a motion?
Sure, I'll be glad to make a motion. Regarding case REZN 04230630, this is a request to rezone 1.34 acres of land located at 910 Tarleton Road. I make a motion that we approve this based on the fact this is just reverting back to the original zoning, and it's for a medical lab.
Do we have a second? Okay. All those in favor, please raise your right hand. All right, the motion passes. All right, that's it for rezoning. For new business, we have the 2023 update to the 2038 comprehensive plan, which we had discussed briefly at our last meeting.
Yes, and we gladly go through the presentation again if you would like to. That's up to y'all. Okay. All right, so this is the 2023 comprehensive plan update that we have to do every 5 years in between a 10-year big process. As I just said, the plans are fully overhauled every 10 years. The last one was in 2018. You have to do 5-year updates per Georgia DCA. This is 2023, so this is the 5-year update to the 2018 plan. In 2012, DCA changes the rules on the 5-year updates. They require more than just updating the community work program. But in 2013, when we did the last mid 10-year update, they were still working through their rules, so we just did it the easy way, just updating the community work program. Well, they've got it all figured out now, so in 2023, we're required to do other aspects of the plan to be updated. These are the ones that they want us to review, needs and opportunities. We've updated that. Future land use maps, we did not see any need to update that, mainly because the first 5 years was the COVID years, and nothing's really changed development-wise. Community work program 2024 to 2028, and then the accomplishments from the 2018 community work program. The timeline in April, accomplishments were submitted to the RVRC for review. They submit them to DCA. And in July, staff begins work on updating the 2023 community work program. We conducted an internal SWOT analysis of each planning district in August, and then we held 3 public meetings, one at Northside Recreation Center, one at the community room downstairs here, and then one at Shirley Winston Park. Y'all got the new update last month, and here we are today, which has not slowed us down. This is not an ordinance, so there will not be a first and second reading at council. It will be a resolution, so it will be heard next Tuesday morning at 9 o'clock. And I'll be happy to answer any questions.
Just out of curiosity, what were the public comments like at the public meeting?
The first one at Northside was, we had one gentleman, very interested in transportation. So even though he was the only one there, that was a very good meeting. We had 4 or 5 people downstairs, generally to hear about what this was about. And then we had one of our stakeholders from 2018 show up as well to hear what we were updating. And then the one at Shirley Winston had, I think, 12 people. Lots of lively discussion. I'm not sure that Most of it had anything to do with the comp plan, but it had to do with issues. Counselor Tucker was there, so she took away a lot from it. I'm not so sure it was a great comp plan meeting, but it was a great community meeting. So that's where we stood with those meetings.
Okay, thank you. Does anyone else have any questions? Okay, do I hear a motion?
I'll make a motion.
Thank you.
Okay. With regards to 2023 update to the 2038 comprehensive plan, I make a motion, we accept it as presented.
Second? Okay. All in favor, raise your right hands. It's unanimous. Thank you. That's all the new business. We don't have any old business. Anyone else have anything for the commission?
Do we have any cases for the next meeting? Okay. All right.
Okay, do we have a motion to adjourn? Second? Okay, all in favor? Meeting's adjourned. Thank you.
Thank y'all.